Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and today we're going to be talking about roster building 101 and Galactic Legend Relic levels. What is the Relic order for your Galactic Legends? Relic 8, Relic 9, and then which Galactic Legends actually want those extra Relic levels on themselves versus their team. And we're going to kind of work through this and explain that some Galactic Legends don't really want what Relic 8 on them as much as they want the rest of their team to match their relics. And this is really important, particularly as you get later in the game. It becomes extremely like the biggest difference you can make in your account. Hi Pippin, where are we going here? There goes Pip. The biggest difference that this can make is your account's efficiency in terms of having good teams on defense and being able to get more out of a team without necessarily making that high relic level investment and being, and making a smarter thing, not only for territory battles, but also in other game modes as well. So let's go ahead. Let's please like and subscribe. Let's give a shout out to our channel members. As always, if you're ever interested, that link is below, along with a link to Discord. Go check it out. Thank you guys again for keeping the faith, for believing in me. I do apologize if I sound a little bit weird. The cold that was going through my entire family finally hit me. Fortunately, it was after the Eagles absolutely belt to ass on the Kansas City Chiefs. We're still not over that, by the way. So, thank you guys again for all of your continued support. Let's get in here. Let's talk about some relic levels. All right, folks. So, let's start off with just going through the Relic 8 and Relic 9, how I would gear up your GLs. So, going with the Relic 9 order first, I would go with your 3 tanks, your Leia, Luke, Ahsoka. Those are the 3 most important GLs to Relic 9, and then Lord Vader. And this is an interesting one because he is an attacker. The thing with Relic 9, you have to remember, it gives out protection and health. And Lord Vader likes both of those stats, so that's why he moves up to that Relic 9 tier before the rest of these characters. Then I've got Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, Rey, Jabba, JMK, and Sith Eternal. And I think this order pretty accurately reflects where they are. Kylo and Rey are the 2 most stat-hungry Galactic Legends. Jabba, the Relic 9 there really just helps you get more waves in TB. Jedi Master Kenobi, he is an attacker. He's, in my opinion, better than Sith Eternal. And then Sith Eternal just kind of at the end, it is what it is. Relic 8 order is pretty similar for the first 3. Where we get different is we move Rey and Kylo above Lord Vader. And we'll talk about that as we get down below. But the bigger reason for this is because Lord Vader's mastery gain is not based on his own stats, but rather the mastery from his allies. So Relic 8 on Lord Vader, while a good investment, is not as good as it is on Rey and Kylo because their gains in mastery is directly dependent on themselves and not necessarily the rest of their team. So again, and then otherwise, same order down here. The thing with Kenobi, Jabba, and Sith Eternal, while they are good good characters, obviously benefiting, you'll see down below that their relic levels are, I'd say there's some better decisions that you can make with their relic levels that kind of have to do with the team that you're going to use them and how. So let's start off with the first 3. So give me 1 second. I'm going to take a sip of a drink. Alright, so Lord Vader, Ahsoka, and Kenobi. Your principle here is matching. You want to keep the relic levels on your Lord Vader, Ahsoka, and Kenobi teams relatively consistent, right? So what that means is before you take your Kenobi to Relic 8, you want to have the rest of his team at that Relic 7 tier. You don't want to see a Relic 9 Kenobi with a Relic 5 Commander Tano. It just doesn't make sense. And the reason that doesn't make sense is because once one of Kenobi's teammates falls apart, everything falls, right? If your Commander Tano dies early, you are done for. If your Snips dies, if GK, if Padme, that team is contingent upon everybody being together. It's the same thing with this Ahsoka team. They love extra relics, but they all love to be around that same place. If you have one weak member of that team and they die, the rest of the team loses value. They're teams that, it's completely reliant on themselves. And then Lord Vader, and this is a huge one, right? And I'm going to go pick on Wombat here for this. So Wombat, on his Lord Vader, So he has a Relic 9. I think, is it Relic 9 Lord Vader? Let's go here. So he's got a Relic 9 Lord Vader. But this account only has a Relic 7 Royal Guard, Relic 6 Thrawn, Relic 7 Darth Vader. Like, the Relic levels are too low. You want Royal Guard to be Relic 8 more than you want Lord Vader to be Relic 9. And I know a lot of people are not going to like that, but remember what I said earlier, that Lord Vader's mastery gain is completely dependent on his allies, right? So Lord Vader gains, when he does 100%, it's 75% mastery of his allies' current mastery until the end of the encounter, and then Empire and Darkside Ufus don't lose mastery from that ability. So if you're getting 75% mastery from your Royal Guard at Relic 7, that is a, call it, a 60, right? He has 45 at Relic 7. He has 60 at Relic 8. So Wombat taking that Lord Vader to Relic 9, yes, it's helping Lord Vader's mastery, but he's not gaining as much when he enters his ultimate because the Royal Guard isn't matching up. And that's actually one of the reasons why my Lord Vader is not Relic 9, is because I want to take Royal Guard there first, and that is something that is on my to-do list. So, and if you think about those 3 Galactic Legends, again, it kind of makes sense. The minute that you kill one of their team members, even regardless of who it is, that team immediately starts to fall apart. That in the 5v5, every character on that team plays a very specific and important role, and without that, they struggle a lot more. Next is Jabba, Rey, and Leia. And this we call core unit matching. For these specific Galactic Legends, these 3 GLs, you could kind of say that they have a core team, right? A core group of characters that make them important. For Jabba, for example, I think you guys would already know this, but for Jabba, that's Chrysanthemum and that's Leia. You want their relic levels to be very similar to Jabba's, because once one of them dies, that team falls apart. I would much rather lose Skiffguard Lando or Embo than I would lose Leia, right? Leia is like the number 1 target in that Jabba team. Oftentimes, a lot of tactics are kill Leia, and then you can go clean up Jabba. So you want to make sure that you're matching your relic levels there, because if these 2 are really low comparative to your Jabba, remember, Jabba's not dealing a lot of damage. Jabba is a facilitator. He makes sure that his team is dealing damage. So if your relic levels on these characters are a lot lower, then your Jabba, even if he's Relic 9, is not doing nearly as much. Sure, he gains extra survivability, but it's not helping his team survive anymore. Similarly, when you think about Rey and the Ufus, if you're using Ben Solo with her, if you're using Cal Kestis, or you're using Kat or whoever else it is, if they are significantly lower relic levels, they pose much less of a threat. Like a low relic Cal Kestis is an easy target for Starkiller to try and snipe out right away. And if Starkiller can kill Cal Kestis early, then all those extra buffs that he's giving out, the healing, all that goes away, and it's a lot easier to handle the Rey team. Similar situation with Ben Solo. If Ben Solo isn't dealing enough damage, you don't have to worry about him. He's not going to pose a big threat. When you see a high relic Ben Solo with good offense mods, you start to get worried because he can snipe you out and ruin your life. And then, of course, you've got Leia, right, with her rebels. And the 2 that go with her are, of course, R2-D2 and Captain Drogon. Those are 2 characters that you absolutely want to invest the relics into before the rest of the team. Yes, having extra relic 8s on Leia's team would be nice, but you want Drogon and R2 to be moving up along with Leia, because that team, again, feeds off of one another. You can kill the ads on that Leia team, but as long as Drogon and R2-D2 are there, you still have a very, very scary team that can take out a lot of stuff. So if you're going to Relic 9 your Leia, I would at least make sure that you have Drogon and R2 at that Relic 8, which is kind of why I brought up my Drogon when I took Leia to 9, and I'm very much thinking about taking them to Relic 9 here soon, because I do think that they really want that relic level to kind of mesh, especially since you use them in 3v3 so much. Think about, the core units here. What are you using in 3v3? And that kind of gives you the idea of where to invest your relics. Again, I do apologize for the state of my voice, but I promise to get you guys content, so, screw my voice. The last group here is Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, Jedi Master Luke, and Sith Eternal. Here, the biggest thing is the GL. You're not as concerned about the rest of their team having relic levels as you are the Galactic Legend themselves, because the GL is the star of the show. Let's use Sith Eternal. You throw Wat Tambora with this guy. Even if Wat is gear 8, it doesn't matter. He's got his Zeta. He gives Sith Eternal the med pack. Wat goes away. A lot of the teams that you use with this guy, it's just about keeping him alive. So the healthier and tankier he is, the better off you are. Similarly with Jedi Master Luke, his entire team's damage is based on the inherited teachings, which is dealing 60% of Jedi Master Luke's base protection. Well, he's a tank, so again, getting him to Relic 9 means he's getting a lot more protection. So you're not worried about bringing Jedi Knight Luke to Relic 8 or anybody else, because you want their damage is based off of Luke's max protection. So upping his Relic level is a lot more important, and it will, in essence, keep your team alive since he taunts and everything else. Now, the last one here is Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. And this one's a little bit interesting. But with Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, prior to getting Darkside Rey, he fits in this category of his relics are the most important. Everybody else in the team, not so much of a big deal. They're most likely going to die off. Kylo's just all about himself. There's not a lot of survivability there. So you get Kylo as far as you can, and the rest of the team just kind of sits there. But with the new Darkside Rey, I would make a big statement that he kind of fits into this core unit matching, where you're going to want those relic levels on, Kylo Ren Unmasked, your Darkside Rey. Hell, I'm debating doing that for General Hux and even First Order Stormtrooper. But I definitely think between Kylo Ren Unmasked and Darkside Rey, you're going to want their relics that kind of mirror up with Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Get more survivability, more damage, more mastery. All of those things will be really important to that team as you're getting into Grand Arena and other game modes. So, if you're still watching, thank you. You are a real trooper. I'm sorry I sound like Robert Kennedy Jr. right now. I'm doing my best with the illness going around. So, thank you guys again. I hope this helps you with your roster building. I hope this helps give you kind of some idea of how to spread your relics. And, and I want to give a shout here to one of my channel members, and that is Exonix. Oops, hold on, I gotta find his, I gotta go grab his account here real quick. So, one of the things with Exonix I saw was that he's kind of bought into my strategy with Galactic Legend relics. And my strategy is that you don't need high relic levels on your GLs for a long time. When you look here, he's got all Relic 7 GLs, 10.3 million GP, all Relic 7 Galactic Legends. This is a really smart way to build through the game. The reason that this is a very intelligent play, like after, talking through those things, the biggest thing I can encourage you is don't go crazy with your GL upgrades right away. And here's why. He's poised really nicely here that if he wants to go for Jedi Master Kenobi next, or he wants to go for Lord Vader, whatever it is, because he hasn't invested high relic levels in his Galactic Legends as it stands, he has this extra signal data, right? It's 45 blue signal data to take a character to Relic 8. Across 6 Galactic Legends, which is what he has unlocked, that's 270 blue signal data. That's a lot, right? So if I can encourage you guys to be much more like him, because this is exactly the way that I was. It took me a long time to invest Relic 8s into my GLs because I didn't see that value. And a lot of people will tell you you're crazy, but remember, mods over relics. But also, it's what are you actually getting out of that Galactic Legend at Relic 8? What are they doing for you at Relic 8 that they weren't doing before? And for somebody like Exonix, that question is, I don't have any problems, right? I know his account enough to know that he's not struggling against an opponent who maybe has more relic levels because he's got the right strategies and the right mods in place. So don't feel like you need to invest all these relic levels into your GLs right away. Wait around, invest those into other farms, because that will allow you to progress faster instead of having these relic levels tied into a galactic legend that isn't helping you as much or isn't really that beneficial. You know, the example being your Leia will beat Jedi Master Kenobi regardless of what the enemy Kenobi's relic levels are. Like, it just doesn't matter, right? So what are you getting out of that relic that you aren't getting at the current moment? You know, most of you are not having to face Ahsoka. Most of you aren't even having to face Leia's yet. So, you know, if I can encourage you guys to hold off on your relics until later on, be like Exonix. So that's the end of the video. Let me know your thoughts down below. Again, I do apologize that I sound like Robert Kennedy Jr., but I promise to get you guys daily content, and regardless how the voice sounds, we're going to do that. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, my friends.